Chop Shop with FPD. I'm your host, Chief Steve Hebbe, and I'm flying solo today. Shanice is on vacation for the holidays, and so we're just going to chat a little bit about some things going on in the community and how the holiday is coming up. And we are racing up. This is our last show of 2023 already, which is just amazing. And I hate to say it because I've heard it through the years, but it seems like the older I get, the faster the time is just flying by. So we'll be in 2024 before we talk to you again. And there's a part of me that'll be very, very happy to put 2023 to bed. It was a long year for us here at the FPD, no doubt about it. But I said that at the end of 2022, and then 2023 didn't really pan out for us. So I'm not sure what 24 holds. I think we've got a lot of events coming up in 24 that could make it a difficult year for all of us, really, as a country, as we face yet another election, which my guess will be a fairly divisive one. But for now, we're in the final stretch here, just a few days shy of Christmas, and we still don't have snow, which I appreciate. We had a little of it, and it went away. That is not the experience of my friends up in Alaska. They are absolutely getting pounded this year, and it serves as a great reminder of the 24 years I spent up there and the 10 years I've been overjoyed not to be spending up there. So before you feel like it's too cold, trust me, everything's relative, and they are definitely cold and snowy up in Alaska this time of year. So this year for us at the department, it has been some ups, but some real challenges as well. And for us as a community, May 15th, just a horrific day for us. We made it through that together. Honestly, and it was not easy. Those were difficult days. Our officer, fortunately, Rachel DeSenza, is on the mend, and she is back to full duty for us. So that is, if you're a Christmas miracle person, that is a miracle that you'd get shot like she did, and be able to make a full recovery. And the state trooper as well, that was shot in that incident. Unfortunately, we lost three families, or three women from a couple of families that were just great for our community. Did a lot of things in their lifetime, had long lives here as Farmington residents, and to see them end the way it did that day, just horrific. And it won't be soon that we ever forget what happened that day. But nonetheless, there was good out of it. Really, as a community, we really did come together, and I know our officers felt a lot of support from the community when we were going through the immediate wake of that. Our officers did just, really, and the word gets overused these days, but they were just heroic in the way they handled that event and how they charged in there. One of them obviously shot at another trooper shot, but they did their job when we needed them, and that is, that's the height of the profession. When they're most needed, they came through to save and protect people. So May 15th, definitely everything else after May 15th or around it really doesn't compare with what a horrific day that was for us. But there were a lot of things other than that happened. We continued on with our Riverfest. We continued on with our National Night Out. We had the Balloon Fest. A busy year overall for Farmington, and getting busier. We do lots of events, and we're adding new ones. This was the second year of the Balloon Fest. We did the Christmas parade. I think Scott was one of the key people in the Christmas parade again. Is Scott ever not a big figure here? No. So there's all kinds of chatter in the room with me, but they're trying to mute themselves. But no, Scott's a big deal in Farmington, and we spent another year with Scott here at KSJE, the mighty beacon, not making the bacon, keeping the beacon is their motto. Maybe 24 will see better mottos out of KSJE. We'll see what we can work on with that. Some of the other things we had here as we're ending the year, There's an opening in District 2 for counselor, and the way that will be filled is applications will be made into the city. I think they've just posted that, if I'm not mistaken. So you can apply if you live in that area. And District 2 is mostly to the west, starting around Troy King, and then moving east from there up to around Butler. It's not a nice square. You've got to actually look at the district to figure out whether you live in it or not. But if you're somebody that has interest in serving the community in a leadership role on the council, I would tell you to take a long look at it. Talk with some of the other councilors, talk with the mayor, and see if it's something that you would be interested in. It's definitely a challenging job. And these are challenging times for us as a community. So, we need good people that want to step up and help be a part of leading our community. So that opening is a result of Sean Shearer leaving his district, but opening up an opportunity for somebody else to come in and help out. The NFL has not been my friend this year. I will say that 23 was rough. 22 wasn't great either. If you recall, the Packers missed the playoffs. Then we lose Aaron in the offseason. Then Aaron lasts 4 plays for the Jets and gets hurt and out for the season. Jordan Love's looking better for the Packers. That is good news. However, we don't seem to have a defense despite 17 first-round picks on it. But we're not the Buffalo Bills, who, honestly, I can't figure them at all. I think every time I mention them, Scott starts drinking. I don't know what the policy is on alcohol consumption up here at the college, but, I would say that it doesn't appear just to be iced tea that he's drinking. But he was celebrating. The Bills certainly manhandled the Cowboys this last weekend, so that's probably always a victory. But the NFL, winding down into their final days. I think we got football all weekend this weekend for Christmas. It's Saturday, Sunday, and a Monday night game on Christmas. So they are definitely winding around, and some surprises down the stretch. So, you've got that still several weeks left of that. I don't think I'll be watching playoff football this year. I might be moving out of my Milwaukee Bucks and hoping that Giannis is able to take us to the promised land there. As far as looking ahead to 2024, it's hard to believe 2020 is 4 years ago already, because that was a long year for us, and 2016 was an even longer year for us. The vitriol around American elections right now is just painful to watch and to be part of. I will tell you that over the last few weeks we ran or attempted to run a gun buyback here in Farmington. It would have been the first of its kind. And the emotion and vitriol that came out as a result of that was shocking, especially around Christmas. I had one of our leaders in the community tell me that I had invited the enemy into our community. And honestly, folks, I just don't get it. That the best part of America is really that we are diverse. We have different ideas. We don't all think the same. The worst part then is to categorize people that we disagree with as the enemy or as evil. They're not the enemy. They just disagree with us. I don't particularly disagree or agree with everything that New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence advocates. But nonetheless, as the police, we don't take sides. We are not here just to talk to people we like and talk to people we agree with. And the day you have a country like that is going to be a dark day in our country. I think we've seen the FBI, when the FBI has tripped into being more political at its top. The agents do a great job and are dedicated, hardworking people, but at the top, when they drifted into politics, it shakes the country. If you're a right-winger and you try to watch Jimmy Kimmel or some of the comedian shows that are on, you're shaking your head like, how did we get here that we are making fun of only one group and somehow we think that that's bringing us all together? And it certainly doesn't. Immediately you alienate half the country. The police do not do that. That is not our job. And on this subject, I'm actually pretty religious on. We are right in the middle. We are neutral. We talk to everyone. We ensure everyone's rights are protected, and we don't take sides for politics. That's what the elections are for. That's what all the citizens get to do. But the police are here to make sure everybody's safe and that everybody's rights are followed. And some of the best days, honestly, in policing in my career has been watching officers do things for people that didn't like them. The Dallas shooting, if you remember, was a Black Lives Matter protesting the Dallas Police Department. Dallas police officers were in and around to make sure that everything was safe, and of course it wasn't. An active shooter started. Five Dallas officers were killed. The very crowd that they were protecting and that was loathing them and yelling anti-police slogans then began running to them for protection. And in that moment, Dallas police officers scrambled to do their best to keep them safe. That's the essence of American policing to me. That's what makes us different than police in Russia, police in Mexico, police anywhere else in the world, is at the end of the day, we are not political. That is not our job. And so on the gun buyback, although I may disagree with many of the things that any particular group advocates, and in this case, New Mexicans to Prevent Gun Violence is much more. Well, we disagree on a number of topics, but we can still work together. We can still find areas where we agree. And a gun buyback, no matter what your feelings on it really are, at the end of the day, it's a person's right to do what they want to do with their own property. So if they don't want to have a gun anymore, they don't have to have a gun anymore. If they want to have a gun, they can have a gun. Pretty much like I said in my original video. So I was disappointed to hear that kind of vitriol and description of fellow New Mexicans, fellow Americans at Christmas. At Christmas. And we're going to talk about people being the enemy. If we want to talk enemies, we can certainly look at the Russians who have invaded Ukraine. We look at Hamas, which has invaded and then carried out just a devastating terrorist attack in Israel, a small country. So we lost 3,000 people on 9/11, and they lost 1,200 dead. And they're a country of maybe 5 million, something in that vicinity. Those are enemies. Those are enemies of freedom. Those are enemies of democracy. Somebody that disagrees with me, whether it's about guns or abortion or Trump, is not the enemy. And we've really gone down a rabbit hole in our country, fueled really, in my opinion, by social media, where we see people as good and bad, and you're either with us or against us. And that, we've talked through the years, it isn't the first time I'm talking about it. It puts the police in a very difficult spot because we are in the middle. And if you're in Santa Fe and you are a Republican, you're probably hoping that the police are not siding with the in-power folks who happen to be Democrats down there and have no use for you or time for you or are willing to partner with you on anything. And it's the same here. We're a predominantly conservative area, obviously, but that does not mean that I have not associated with Somos Un Pueblo Unido, an advocacy group on immigration that through the years we've done a number of things with. Now, I disagree with some of their positions, and they disagree with me on some of my positions, but we've been able to find ways that we can partner and things that we can work together on that make our community better. And so as we're nearing kind of the end of a difficult year for us, and we're right on the precipice of what I'm afraid is going to be just a long, brutal year of really seeing each other in the most extremes. I would ask everyone in the holiday season, really, what do we stand for? What does Christmas mean to us? So we put up lights and we sing Christmas carols and we talk about Christmas, but do we really have that feeling? Do we really believe what we're saying? Because we shouldn't be seeing fellow citizens as the enemy or as evil because they disagree with us. And then to highlight it during the Christmas season is just really shocking to me. And we are about to go through 9 months or so of the election cycle. I think the first round of Republican primaries begins with New Hampshire and Iowa here in the next couple of weeks, and we will see what looks likely right now, although many things could still happen. But what looks likely is we're likely to have Trump and Biden as the two candidates again. And if 2020 was any judgment of it, and 2016 before that, it will be extreme emotion and extreme painting of each side in the most extreme language possible. And then you look back and you're like, actually, we're still here, aren't we? You know, the world didn't come to an end because Trump was president for 4 years. And yeah, Biden's president right now, and the world didn't come to an end. And here's a prediction, and this is a bold one. You know, it's probably a hot take. No matter which one of these guys gets elected, the country will probably still be here in 2028. And I'll probably be sitting here with you, and we'll be doing yet another cop shop talking about that election. So, you know, the extreme vitriol that we bring to these elections, and the way we paint, you know, nobody on the right appreciated Hillary Clinton's description of Trump supporters as a basket of deplorables. You know, that was one of the epic, stupid lines to say, and immediately alienated part of the country. That's what I'm telling you. Whether it's on comedy, whether it's on issues like the gun buyback, whether it's in elections, I mean, our ability to paint people and just exclude them based on whatever it is. In this case, warshed. It's just they don't agree with us, and then we paint them in the most extreme, just anti-Christmas to me. Certainly to be wishing everyone a happy new year and then immediately begin an attack on somebody because they don't agree with us just is tough for me to take. So at this time of year, I would ask all of us to let's ponder what kind of a year we want to have in 24, because it could be as bad or as good as we want to make it. We really control that. And, you know, I was watching, some of the back and forth. Rashard Mendenhall, former Pittsburgh Steelers running back, had kind of some interesting takes on commentary in the NFL, and he was out there. But J.J. Watt, a good Wisconsin guy, I might add, J.J. Watt actually was responding in it, and he was kind of making fun of it and playing along with it, and somebody got mad at him on Twitter about it, and he said, look, you can choose to be offended and get upset about things you see on Facebook or social media in general, and I choose not to. And that actually is great advice for all of us as we're going into this next year. We're all going to get to vote for who we want to vote for. We're going to get to support the things we want to support, and frankly, we should do it passionately. We've got an upcoming legislative session here that'll start in about 3 weeks, and there'll be a lot of stuff on it that we'll feel passionately about one way or the other. And being active and being engaged in a democracy is fantastic. We absolutely should do that. Tempered with the reality that these are fellow Americans. This is not death to us, and that we fight to the death over issues that we disagree with. And frankly, some of that painting, and really, I'll even give you, it started a lot in 2016 when Trump made president. The end of civilization was upon us, and it just did not prove to be anywhere close to true. And that kind of hyperbole sets us in motion for a cycle of each side getting more and more hysterical and viewing each other worse and worse. But there's a lot of things in 24 that we're going to be able to work on, and that we should be as a community here in San Juan County working on together. We have a bunch of challenges coming up, and it will start for us as a state with a legislative session, and there'll be things that are going to evoke passion. But really, we can decide what kind of a year we want to have in 24. And I'm for hoping it's a year where we actually pause for just a moment before we react to every insane thing that we read on the internet. And frankly, people are pretty brave on the internet to take some of the positions that they take. But let's pause for a minute or two, and let's breathe. And let's make sure that the things we actually do value, the beliefs we actually do have, and here in San Juan County, I think, we really are a community that cares about things like Christmas, cares about things like, our religion, and our civility first program that starts with our community council, and it's a CRC, isn't it? Community Relations Commission. That's right. Thank you. The Community Relations Commission has been running civility first here for a number of years. I think as a community we do believe those things when we're just kind of one-on-one and we're talking. But when we get on Facebook or we get on Twitter, all of a sudden we kind of forget what our values are. And so I would say my New Year's resolution, and one I wish that we would adopt as a county is that we're going to take a moment before we react this year. We're going to think about what we're saying and the consequences of it, and we're going to make sure that it really is true. I think the Rotarians say they've got their 4 points, and one of them is what I'm saying true? Is what I'm saying, kind? And is it going to benefit anyone to say this? And if we actually all kind of live by that, in particular on social media, it would be a great year that we've got coming, full of important decisions for us as a country, but a chance to disagree without the vitriol and the hatred. So there's kind of my end of the year. I know together we here in San Juan County made it through May 15th, and it really wasn't vitriol. It really wasn't attacks on each other. It was actually coming together and helping each other out during difficult days. And guess what? Some of the folks that you were helping and talking with, you didn't agree with on some stuff, and that's okay. So, with that, I hope bravely we face 2024 together, and that we continue to make San Juan County and Farmington in particular just a fantastic place to live. So thank you all for having me in your home and on your radio and on your Facebook and here in 2023. And I look forward to seeing you next year right here on the Cop Shop.
Yad A, Journey with Native Art Voices of the Four Corners and me, Vinaya Yazi, where we will trek into the Native artist dialogue and narrative. Together, we will take a glimpse into the art process and the lives of the Navajo, Apache, Ute, and Pueblo artists living within Arizona, Utah, Colorado, and New Mexico. Tune in every third Thursday of the month at 9:30 a.m. or find podcast episodes. Native Art Voices of the Four Corners, great artist stories are the journey of art in the Four Corners.
KSJE is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center. The caregivers of San Juan Regional Medical Center are committed to bettering the quality of life, health, and care of individuals, families, and our communities. Life is their sacred trust. Better is their mission. Here is their home. San Juan Regional Medical Center, improving the health of the Four Corners since 1910.
Hi, I'm Sam Payne, host of The Appleseed, an hour filled with stories for you and your family. And we're not talking about news stories here. We're talking about fairy tales and folk tales and personal stories and family tales and even a little music from time to time. And each story could spark a memory for you that you can share with the people that you love. Hear The Appleseed every Thursday at noon, right here on the information and cultural beacon of the Four Corners, KSJE, Farmington, New Mexico.
KSJ